And again, don't stay shy in the background. Interaction definitely makes these trainings much more engaging. So I'm going to be starting out this week's training with some wins. And I want to know, have you had any wins this week with this training? Have you tried it on? Even if you didn't get a win, has anybody put any of it into practice? And if so, what was the outcome? So this is over to you guys now. I want to know if you've been giving it a try.
Unfortunately, I haven't as yet. I have transferred the notes into a nice sort of like script.
Yeah.
That's as far as I've gotten.
Excellent. Okay, so you've got organised with the actual process, yeah?
Yeah, so that I feel confident actually when I do it. That
yes.
Kind of thing, so.
But definitely on this note, can I just say as well, the only way you will get more confident, and you know what I'm going to say, don't you? And, is really just doing it. And we, with our coaching team, when we have new coaches that come on board, they literally get thrown into the deep end and they just like take a call. And it happened to me when I first became a coach back in 2015. I remember that first call when my manager then was like, right, take a call now. And he was listening to me as well. And I was like, what? And I did not feel prepared. I did not know what I was doing. And he was like, take the call. And he literally threw me in the deep end, as if he just pushed me off the cliff. And it was the most nerve-wracking call ever because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But that's how I learned. And 100% with this powerful conversation, the close process, you will get better and better the more that you do it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times when you'll come off a call and think, oh, I could have done better there. That's fine. There's still times when I come off a call and I think, when I haven't won, when I haven't got a no, and I think that should have been a yes. When I look and instead of beating myself up, I try and go through what could I have done differently. And I've been doing these calls every single day since 2015. So, you've really just got to try it on. And trust me, you'll get way more people saying yes. I was having a conversation with a lady just 20 minutes ago while setting up the Zoom, going through the powerful conversations that close. Okay. And if above anything else, you just remember, all you have to do is ask questions. Mm-hmm. You'll get more people saying yes. Because she wanted more information about my product. I could have easily given it, but I just went straight into questions. Questions. So she was selling herself to me. Yeah. So, Merciana, did you try any of it on? Caroline?
Yes, but I didn't get any answer.
But you tried it.
I tried. I have asked him for Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because actually I did something for him. I wrote some text in German because he was so desperate going to the how do you call it, certificate things. And then I asked him, and I showed the video.
Yeah.
And what do you think about it? I didn't get any answer.
So did you ask questions to begin with?
I asked question, what has it done with you? What's
you went through the process.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
What has it done with you? Do you know what I mean? Were you getting
a response? Was he actually replying to you?
No.
Oh, so you asked the questions, but you weren't getting a response?
No.
So not a great prospect then.
Or at least he's scared. He's scared to give me an answer.
Yeah. Yeah, so the best thing to do with that person is to leave them. Because remember, desperation puts people off. Posture gets more silence. So if he's not answering you, just don't waste any more time with him and move on to the next person. I know it's easier said than done when you just want someone to reply, but they're just not a great prospect if they're not going to do that, okay? So if we get some more latecomers coming on the call, because I know of a few other people that have given it a go as well, maybe we'll have another little share at the end of this training, because we want to get cracking. This is our final installment of the Powerful Conversations That Close. And today we're going to be covering, you know, the close. So the actual money conversation.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's really important, today's training. And just leading on from last week, you know, last week, if you're here, if you weren't here, also make sure you let me know. You can maybe comment if you haven't had the email with the recording, because you all should have had the recording from last week's, from module 1, which was, you know, the first call, the intention of the first call. Now, I've given you that link to the training. I just want to let you know I probably will have to download that training and move it to a new home. All that means for you is it will be a different link. If I do that, I will email you the new link with the new destination, so you've always got lifetime access to that recording, okay? Just make sure any emails that you get from me, you save them in a folder, so you can always access that training whenever you need it. The plan eventually is that I'm going to have my own membership site where you will have your own log-on details, and all of the products that you own will sit in that site. But that's quite a big job that's still in the making. So, yeah, last week we left it off with, you know, we've took them through the process, and we've got them to try and go and have a look at the opportunity. I did say on last week's call, if you feel like you can close them there and then, do it, okay? However, this week we're going to look at that follow-up call, what you do once they've gone away, looked at more information and come back. And by the way, there's someone with a little bit of background noise, so if it is you, can you just mute yourself? Anytime you want to ask me questions, stop me. Because like you saw last week, you know, we go through a lot of information. So I'm going to turn off my video. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get cracking with this presentation. So hang on a minute. Right, can someone just come off mute and tell me, nope. I just need to be able to make sure that you can see. Oh.
Yes.
I thought I'd cut you off. I just seem to have lost you all for a second. Bear with me. Where have you all gone? I think I just clicked out of Zoom somehow. What can you see on your screen?
Your presentation.
Yeah, but is it with all the slides down the side?
Yes.
I don't want that. See, I've lost all your faces, so I just need to put you back over here. How did I do this last week? Now, when I do this, what can you see now?
That's perfect.
Your presentation.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So I just wanna. No, I can't. I can only. So I basically can't see you guys now. So if you want me, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to come off mute and let me know. Okay, or type a question into the chat box. So yeah, today we're going to be covering the close, and we've gone over wins and takeaways. And I'll try and share some that I've had this week with my clients as well, actually, that have been real good ones. So the structure of this call is we want to welcome them. Obviously, we always have a little bit of a welcome. This is the follow-up call now. And the first thing you want to be doing is asking if they've watched the material. Because if they have, obviously, you want to continue. And if not, then you really want to reschedule that call with a clear outcome. Yeah, don't waste your time on that follow-up call if they've not done the thing that they said they were going to do. You know, it's real. This was a big training for me this week, you know, because I still have ongoing training with this process myself. And the subject we were talking about this week was posture. And the more you can just not put up with people's crap, you know, they're going to respect you more. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, but you know, don't let people off with their crap. So if I get someone turning up and they've not done the work that they were meant to do, they've not watched the opportunity webinar or whatever it is I'm sending them to, they don't get a call with me. And I know that sound, you know, you might be thinking, I can't do that. You know, you will. With more practice, you will get this posture, because it's about, you know, you valuing your time and making people really qualify for the position. And the more you do that with people, the more they will respect you and they will want to join, okay? So if they haven't watched it, we want to reschedule that call with a clear outcome, okay? And you can also be saying at this point, you know, can you just promise to let me know if you can't make it? Or can you promise to let me know if you haven't had chance by X to watch the training? Because I use this line all the time, okay? I say, can you just promise to let me know if you need to reschedule? And when you say that and they say, yes, of course, 9 times out of 10, they let me know because they've said yes to that line. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know it's only a little simple line, but it makes a huge difference. And you can even put that in at the end of the first call. You know, when you're actually scheduling this follow-up, you can say, can you promise to let me know if you can't make it? Or can you promise to let me know if you don't get a chance to watch it and we need to reschedule? That's going to save your time, and it makes them more likely to turn up, okay? So, like I said, if it's a no, you want to reschedule. If it's a yes, then they are allowed to continue, okay? They're allowed to have this follow-up session with you. And then we're simply going, the very first thing you're going to do is recap. So you're going to repeat their words to them, which is why it's so important that you took notes on the first call, especially focusing on the pains. Then we're going to test close, then we're going to close, and then comes the opportunity to overcome objections if they're not just a straight close, okay? So we're going to break each one of these down. And this is a really lovely call, and this call can be over within 5 minutes as well, by the way. You can literally have your sign up within 5 minutes. Those are the best ones to have. So rules to remember on your follow-up call. Even when we close the prospect, doesn't matter if you're selling your product or your opportunity, it does not matter what it is you're selling. We never convince. We still never convince on this call, okay? And it is actually a bit harder on this call to not go into that mode of wanting to convince people, because your natural instincts will still want to convince and sell, because this is kind of the selling call. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you naturally just want to switch to selling. However, we never convince. It's not our job to convince, okay? It's our job to make them realize for themselves. That's what your role is here. But you will find you will do this. You will still do this because it's a natural instinct. And, you know, you just need to remember to go back to the process. Always go back to the powerful convo process. Don't get sucked into talking and convincing, because it's still easily done. We still ask questions to close the sale, okay? And I'm going to be showing you some really powerful questions. So, very first part of the call, we welcome and we recap. So, the first thing I say is, hey, welcome to today's call. So pleased to have you here. Have you had chance to watch and whatever I've sent them to? That's the first thing that I say. Because like I said before, if they turn around and say no, they're not getting the call, you know, because it's really important that they've watched that module and they've took that extra qualification step with you, or they've watched whatever presentation it is that you've sent them to. Because every little step that your prospect takes, they are qualifying themselves even more with you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep. And I'll let you into another huge marketing and sales tip here, which isn't on the slide. The more someone invests their time with you, the more likely they are to buy as well. Okay? So if they've had a first call with you, then they've gone away and watched that webinar, and then they've come back, they're a higher quality prospect again, because the more touch points you have with someone, the more time you invest with people, the relationship is stronger, they're a higher quality candidate, okay? So I say, welcome to the call, and have you had chance to watch whatever it is? And then I say, great. And this is actually my lingo here. This is what I say. I say, so, okay, so before we continue and see what your next steps are, I just want to take a moment to recap our previous conversation. Okay? And you don't need to give them a reason as to why you're doing this. You're just telling them, again, you're taking control of the call. And you're saying, I just want to take a moment to recap our previous conversation. And then I literally read back to them my notes. Okay? And if you were on the call last week, I shared an example of how powerful this is. And it happened again today, actually. I had a lady on the call. We were at the sales conversation on the follow-up, this one here. And I said, before we continue and I see, we decide what your next steps are going to be, I literally just want to take a moment to recap our previous conversation. And I read back word for word, and these were her words, remember. I just made notes of what she was saying to me in her language, in her words. And I read them back to her. I said, you told me that you're in this business and these are your goals and this is the reason why you want to achieve this, but these are the challenges that you're currently facing. And I literally read it back, and at the end I said, did I miss anything out? She was like, no, that was amazing. Because they're hearing their life, their goals and their dreams in their own words. And I think I've put it here, yes. So why else, this teacher mode now, and to keep you interacting and with me here, why do you think we read their notes back to them? Paying particular attention to their pains, their struggles and their pains.
I guess it's just reminding them of their pains and bringing them back to the surface again.
Yes.
And also that we actually listened.
Yes, definitely. And I hear that in my prospect's voice when I do that. They're almost a little bit shocked, as in, wow, she really was listening to me.
Yeah.
And what does that build?
Trust.
Yes. It builds trust even more, because that person thinks, this person really listened to me. That is something that no one really does, okay? And again, the more you can build trust with people, the more they're going to buy. But why else do we also want to read their notes back to them, paying particular attention to their pains? Who can remember from last week's training?
Yes, you said you have a conversation with a mom who said that she would wish she can make some money through your coaching, because she wants to travel as long as the kid's still small.
Yeah. Can you remember why, though? Caroline's put reminding them why they became interested in the first place. Yes, definitely. And really hits them when they hear you listened, so they respect and trust you. Yes, but we're missing one big thing. And don't worry, I threw a lot of information at you last week, but this is something that I definitely want you to remember, okay? And that is, let me just go back over here. It gets them emotional. It puts them back into an emotional state. And what does an emotional state equal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Emotional
do you remember?
Buy.
Yes. People do not buy when they are in a logical mindset, when they're in, when they're thinking like an adult, when they're thinking like a parent, and they're thinking, how much is this going to cost? Can I do it? Logical reasons. People buy when they are in an emotional state, okay? It's the child in people that buys. Remember me talking about it's the child that wants.
Yes.
Your children want. They don't care if you haven't got enough money. They don't care if it doesn't make any sense. The child just wants. And every single human being still has the child inside them. And it's the child that wants. But it's the emotional state. When you get into an emotional state, that's when your inner child, you connect with your inner child, and it's that person that buys. So they don't buy for logical reasons. People buy for emotional reasons, okay? The woman will buy the product because she wants time with her children, and she knows that she's losing that. not because of X, Y, and Z. That's why when people say to me, I want a rank advance because I want the car, and I know in the back of my mind, because I've coached so many people, I think that's not the reason why you're doing it. You think that, but it's not. You know, it's never really about the materialistic stuff either. It's about what comes on the back end of that. Yeah. So that is why we read things back to them, but we pay particular attention to their pain. We want them to be reconnected to their pain. Yeah. I remember my mentor saying to me, you need to twist the knife. And I don't like that saying, but it always stuck in my mind, right? They said, you know, don't be afraid to twist the knife. As in, don't be afraid to dig deep, and that is what makes people move. And I know, like at first I thought, I can't do that. And maybe you have a bit of a block around this, but it is your job to help them. If you know your product or opportunity can help them, it is your job to get them to invest in your product if you believe in what you do. And sometimes, you know, our role doesn't mean we have to be totally nice with people all the time. Yeah. Sometimes to help people, you have to be cruel to be kind. Do you know where I'm coming from with this?
Yes, yeah.
And this isn't a nasty way. This is being, if you really want to help people, sometimes you've got to help them see the truth. So, you know, we need to get them back into an emotional state, because they will be coming to this call mainly in a logical state of mind. Like how much, you know, they might have seen how much it costs on your opportunity webinar. They're probably thinking about how much it costs. They'll be thinking logically. We need to get them back emotional. Because they were in an emotional state at the end of the first call, but we've had time in between them. You know, they've gone back to their life. They've watched the webinar. They might have kids that are, you know, they've basically come out of the emotional state. So we need to get them back in there. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
This is why before we even talk about, are they joining, we want to recap and remind them. We need to snap them out of the logical state and into an emotional state. The child buys, the child wants. Does anyone have any questions around that?
Yes, I have this question. I have presentation video.
Yeah.
Shall I pre-qualify the people first before I even show that video?
Yes, you need to take them through last week's training first. You need to ask them all those questions before you send them the video. Yeah? It's like they need to earn the right to watch that video, and the questions that we went through last week is the very first thing that you need to do, and you only send them the video at the end of last week. Yeah. Make sense? And then this is the conversation that we're having after you've sent them the video. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we never just send a link, a video. We have to ask those questions first, so they want to watch the video. Right. So we remind them, we repeat back to them what they've said, like I did today. So they're like, oh yeah, they're totally reminded of that emotional state that they were in and the real life problems and the real stuff that they've got going on. Yeah. They're brought back to reality, as in like, yeah, things need to change. Then we do the test close. This is probably one of the most powerful questions I ask in the entire process, and it's beautiful. And I'll tell you why, okay? So you recap. You literally just repeat to them. You don't say anything else. You just repeat to them what they said. And then you go on and you say, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a no, and 10 being you'd like to get started, or it could be, and 10 being you'd like to buy the product, where are you at this point? Okay. What is absolutely beautiful about this is you get people saying a 10. Yeah. So when people say to you a 10, you don't even have to do anything else apart from take their money and close the sale. Do what you need to do to get the credit card details and close it. Because remember me saying last week, boom, exactly. And I get these. Obviously, I don't get I get more like you'll see in a moment, in the bracket of 7 to 9, but I do get 10s. And it's amazing because you don't have to do anything. It's the easiest close ever. And, you know, you could have gone all around the houses, talking about this, talking about that, and the person could have just been ready to buy. The person could have just been coming to this call ready to buy. And if you don't ask this question, you could end up having an hour-long conversation, half an hour-long conversation when they were just ready to buy. So when you say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a no, 10 being let's get started, where would you say you're at this point? If they say 10, it's Christmas. And you literally just go straight to the close. Like I said last week, you don't go, okay, yeah, that's brilliant. Yes, so what did you love? No, you don't get in the way. You just go, great, let's get you started. Okay? Does that make sense? 'Cause hopefully I'll be going over this again in a minute. But it is really important that if they tell you a 10, you just close them. Don't get in the way of the sale. Don't start trying to re-justify to them that they've done a right decision because you're almost like a bit overexcited. You just literally want to say, okay, great, let's get you started. I just need to go through these details, click this link, and I'll get everything sorted for you today. And you just go straight into doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that is something that I used to do, guys. People used to tell me that they wanted to join and I'd still keep talking. Yeah? And what's all that about? When you keep talking, you could talk them out of the decision. So when they tell you 10, you just go and do the next steps that you need to do to join them. Now, the next bracket, if you've done the first part right, so what I taught you last week, this is probably the bracket that you will get the most, okay? Which is people saying to you a 7 or a 9. And they do actually give you the numbers, by the way. It's a beautiful test close. It's called the thermometer close, this on a scale of 1 to 10. And I love it because people tell you exactly where they're at and they tell you exactly the reason why. So you don't have to guess why they're not a 10. They'll tell you. But most people will be in the bracket of 7 to 9. Okay? And when someone is a 7 to 9, you will literally, 7 to 9 means they want to join. They just need some help. Okay? Or 7 to 9 could be, God, Caroline's getting a light bulb moment. 7 to 9 could just be, I haven't got the money, and they genuinely might not have it. And then you can have a discussion around how to be creative and other products or opportunities that you might have that will work for them. I get a lot of people that say to me 7 to 9, and it is genuinely because they haven't got the money. They're still really great candidates because we work and see if there's, if one of our payment plan works for them. And sometimes it does, and I still get the sale. But what you say when someone is a 7 to 9 is you say, what do you need to see that should be or, not of. What do you need to see or hear in order to become a 10? That is genius right there, that line. Because you can cut the crap. You can cut out all the nonsense and you just get straight to answering what it is that is stopping them from joining. When you say, what do you need to see or hear in order to become a 10? Let them tell you why they're not a 10. Yeah? And we'll go into some of the reasons why they're probably not a 10 in a moment. Well, they might just say, well, it'd be nice to see some testimonials. And then you just think, great, I can send you some testimonials. And how easy is that when someone just tells you, well, this is why I'm not yet a 10. It saves you guessing, it saves you convincing, it saves you selling. Let them tell you why they're not a 10. Now, if someone says they're a 1 to a 6, okay, usually this means that something hasn't gone quite right. As in, if they're making it to this call with you, then they should be pretty qualified because we've gone through all those questions with them. You'll know on that first call if this just isn't right for that person. You'll know if they're a time waster. You'll know if the product that they're inquiring about probably isn't what they're looking for. And you've got to be honest, guys. Don't waste time. You don't want to be desperate for everybody. You know, they'll have way more respect for you if you were to turn around that first call and go, do you know, I just don't think this is for you. Or, you know, there's probably another product that might help you. Because if they're making it to this call, there should only be a minimal few, and I still do get them from time to time as well, that will say 1 to 6. And this might just be that they are a no. And remember that that is okay as well. That is still an outcome at this point. However, having said that, I've still managed to turn 1 to 6s into a sale as well. So don't completely write it off. They might just be holding the cards close to their chest and not wanting to give you the full information. And we all, you know, we almost need to break that wall down a little bit because they're holding their cards close to their chest. But what I say if someone says 1 to 6, gently, I say, okay, well, you know, that I say this probably could be my fault. Maybe I haven't explained things properly to you, because it takes the pressure off them a little bit when I say that. So I say, yeah, I've probably not explained this well enough to you. Can I ask, is there something I've misunderstood? And then just let them tell you the reason, again, as to why they're there. And you'll get a sense as to, look, they're just not interested. And the beautiful thing about that, and again, this test close, is you don't have to waste any more time if you get the impression that this person is just totally not into it. And remember, this is still a win. Yeah, but this is still a win if someone says this is not for me. So does that make sense so far, guys? Do you have any questions about that?
Totally,
Yes.
that makes sense.
This makes sense.
What do you think about that question? This one, the test close, on a scale of 1 to 10.
I think it's excellent. Like Caroline says, it's a bit of a light bulb moment.
Yeah,
It?
it's genius. When I discovered that question, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like Christmas and birthday all in one for me, because I just loved it. And it took the pressure off me trying to figure out why people didn't want to join, and you just get straight to the reasons. And Caroline's put, I think I would be happy to get a 7 to 9, as it means they are very close and likely to say a 10 very soon. 7 to 9s want to join, okay? And it just means you've got to ask a few more questions. And I'm going to give you strategies to get them to a 10. 10s obviously are perfect. I just love it when someone comes on and says a 10, because you just don't have to waste any time. Boom, sale, done. Okay. Power tactic. This was a real big one that I learned. Okay. When we're on this call, you can have a tendency to get a bit excited. Even when someone says a 7 to 9 to you, you will, your natural instincts will make you want to go up in pitch when you're talking to someone. That's great. Yeah. So here's a power tactic that I was taught. Whenever you get to the end of a sentence, okay, instead of going up in your pitch, you should actually go down. So what I mean by this is your natural instincts on this call, because you're excited and it means you could make a sale, is to go like this. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, Merciana, 1 being a no and 10 being, you know, you want to get started, where would you say you're at this point? Can you see what I just did there?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And how many of you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you go like, where are you at this point? Because you're getting a bit excited. Yeah. This is what you need to do. And it's hard because it goes against your natural instincts. And it will take some practice. And it took me a lot of practice to get this, okay? Because you just naturally want to go, where are you at this point? You naturally want to go up in pitch. What you need to do is, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a no and 10 being you'd like to get started, where would you say you're at this point?
Oh, wow.
It's still hard for me to do now because it's not natural. However, what that does is it actually builds trust and it increases posture, because it shows to the other person that you're not desperate for the sale. We've spoke about this, yeah? desperation puts people off, but also it's just a bit salesy. If you go, where are you at this point? It's almost, you know, they can feel your excitement. When you, for some whatever reason, it's just scientifically proven. If you go down and where are you at this point? Are you ready to get started today? Yeah, it goes against your natural instincts, but it is hard to do, but it builds trust and it increases posture. And the more you do it, it will just become natural as well. Okay. So I'm, you know, every time I ask this question, it's just embedded in my mind now to go down rather than up. So, you know, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no, where are you at this point? Okay, that's a power tactic. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So we know what to do when they're a 10. We just close them. Now, if they're a 7 to 9 and you say, what do you need to see, and that should be or hear, in order to become a 10? Now, this is okay. This is really good when they're a 7 to 9 because it just means that they need help crossing the line. Yeah, they need you to take them by the hand and cross the line with them. You know, sometimes you just need someone else to hold you by the hand and take you across that finish line, and to believe in you probably a little bit more than you believe in yourself. But the best thing about this is let them tell you what they need to see or hear. And remember, they're probably at the point and are still thinking of these 4 reasons that we covered last week. It's the same on the first call, it's the same objections on the second call. They might still be thinking, they, you know, even though they trust you more, maybe they just still need to trust you a bit more. Yeah, they still don't know, like, and trust you enough. And people like this, they tend to be skeptics. Yeah, you'll know the type when you speak to them, absolutely. They tend to ask questions where they're just a bit skeptical. Yeah, and they're probably like that in life with everybody. They don't trust people, they don't trust things. They might have watched your opportunity and thought, this sounds to be too good to be true. Okay. And these people are still great. You know, there's, you know, we have to look at it in a positive way. And all they may need to see or hear is something like testimonials. Yeah. So can you actually show them or send them to results? Or can you schedule a 3-way call with someone who has a similar story to theirs? Okay. So again, you know, let them tell you. They might turn around and say, well, you know, I still just don't know if this is too good to be true. Or I'm not sure that, you know, this will work for me. I mean, what has it worked for other people? What they're basically saying to you here is they need to see a bit more proof. Is this making sense? Anybody?
Yes.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to ask, okay, so what would you like to see or hear that would help you to make a decision? Hope you're writing these down because that's a powerful question as well. What would you like to see or hear that would help you to make a decision? Because I've had people that they literally just needed to see a testimonial. Yeah. I can't remember if I put it in here. I'm not sure if I did. I had one guy once, and this sounds absolutely crazy, but I asked him this question and he literally just wanted to see my commission balance. And I know that sounds crazy, you know, and it might be different for everybody, but he just wanted to see my commission balance. And when I shared my screen with him and showed him my commission balance, he was like, that's all I needed to see. I want to join now. And I
that's really, sorry, Emma.
Yeah, go on.
I was just thinking, so like for newbies to this,
yes,
and you don't have the commission balance, yes, and they ask you for that, what do you do?
I've got this further down on a slide.
Okay.
Basically, this is where you want to share someone else's results. Okay. Yeah, someone in your team, in your downline, your upline. If you haven't got the powerful story yet, because we're going to go over this in a moment, or you haven't got the commission balance, or you haven't got the results yourself, don't feel like you are not worthy to be speaking to these people, okay? You're still the expert because you're doing the business. And surely there must be someone that you know that you can share their success story. Or you could share them. Yeah? Or could you get that person on a 3-way call with a success person in your team? Because if you haven't got that, you should be hunting for that in your team as well. A go-to person that has got the results that can do 3-way calls with you. There must be someone in your upline that is able to do that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because that would massively close a call. And you don't have to say, well, I haven't got the results yet. You literally can just say, great, I tell you what would be perfect. How would you be open to speaking with someone on my team who actually has a really similar story to yours, so they could speak to you and show you their results? Yeah. Always use someone else's. But the biggest thing here is, let them tell you what the reasons are, and don't be afraid to ask, what would you like to see or hear? That would help you to make a decision. So they don't know, like, and trust you yet. Usually means they just need to see a bit more proof. And that's easy. If they can tell you what they need to see, you can send that to them, and it saves you going around the houses trying to figure out what it is, why they're not joining. Okay. Now the second reason is they don't believe your business can help them. This might be one of their objections. So when you've said, what do you feel you need to see or hear in order to become a 10? They'll tell you. And this is, again, very similar to the other previous objection. It's still just a bit, they're just a bit skeptic. They're not quite there yet. And they may just need to see some results, hear some testimonials. And I've put in capitals here, share your story. Even if you feel like you haven't got results yet, it doesn't matter. I don't care. If you share, you do not realize yet how powerful your story is. And I cannot tell you the amount of sales I've closed as a result of just telling my story. Because when you share your story, there's so much happens. It's unreal. And for those people that are on this call that were part of my Facebook Success Academy training back in January, you'll know, or hopefully you'll remember from when we went over the training on how powerful telling your story is. This is the same when you're having a conversation with someone. Your story sells, and it always will, because it shows that you're real. It helps people to be able to relate to you. It helps people to be able to relate to your struggles. It helps people see that you show your vulnerable side when you share your story. But more than anything else, it also inspires people. So, the fact that you're in your business is an inspiration. If you just share your story and how you found the business or how you found the product and what it's done for you, and just the excitement you had when you found your business, your story will sell. Okay? So on this call now, on this follow-up call, every opportunity you have to share your story, just do it, because you will get more people to sign up. So when I get a sense that someone's a little bit skeptical, they don't quite believe, well, to be honest, I do it with all 4 reasons. If they don't trust, they're skeptical. If they don't believe in the business, if they don't believe in themselves, for every reason, I will still share my story, because it inspires people and it helps people to see that they can do it. So I share my struggles. I share like how my network marketing business crashed, and then how I found the answer and I turned my business around. If you haven't got a story that you don't think is powerful, even though it will be, even if you haven't got results, share someone else's story who is similar to theirs. Yeah? It doesn't have to be your own, even though I would encourage that it is your own. And remember, we're speaking to the child in them, and your story will inspire them and help them to believe that they can do it. So does anyone have any questions around those first 2? First of all, they don't know, like, and trust you yet, and they don't believe your business can help them.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, all making sense?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so again, the third reason, if they're a 7 to 9, might just be they don't believe in their dreams enough, and they don't believe in themselves enough. This last one, is probably the biggest. They don't believe in themselves enough. So they don't see that they can do it. And you really just need to be the person that holds them by the hand and makes them see that they can totally do this. And one of the best ways of doing this is repeating their words back to them. Because if you remember from last week, you know, I put it here, remind them of their dreams. And you can actually ask them the question. Remember when I asked you how committed you are to making this happen? What did you say? Okay. So if someone says to you, I just don't know if I can do it, this is they don't believe in themselves enough. You can repeat what they've said to you on that previous call when they said, yeah, I'm super committed and, you know, I really want this to work. You can repeat these things back to them, or you can even ask the question, remember when I asked you how committed you are to making this happen? What did you say? Get them to say it from their own mouth. Get them to repeat to themselves how much they want it. Yeah? And again, share your story. Tell your testimonial, share your story. And again, you can just remind them of their dreams as well. So if you've getting the feeling that they've kind of lost a bit of connection on why they really wanted to do this, don't be afraid to remind them, okay? Rules to remember. You can, when they ask questions, because, you know, they will come to this call with questions, you can answer their questions briefly and always return with a question, okay? So the reason why I've said briefly is we don't want to overwhelm them. So if they say, what am I trying? Let me try and think of a popular question that I get. Right. So tell me, you know, what exactly does this program do? I could go off, you know, on an hour's rant about what our program does, but I want to keep it brief, and I want to just pick out like 2 to 3 pinpoints and tie it in with their pains or their goals that they've already shared with me. So if we go back to the lady that we spoke about last week, who just wanted more time with her children, she wanted to be able to travel with her children while they were still young. Yeah. If she asked me that question, I could say, well, you know, one of the benefits of our program is we can help you how to run your business on automation. And what that means for you is you're going to have more time freedom in your business to do the traveling with your children, like you said to me. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Always answer their questions briefly and try and tie it in to things that they have told you. And it will make sense when you're doing this. You'll just know what to say, but don't go overboard. And like I've said here, always return with a question, because remember, we want them talking more than we are talking. The person talking is buying. So with that example that I just gave you, I'd say to the lady, one of the things that our program can do is help you and teach you how to run your business on automation so you can have more time in your business. Is that something that would be important to you? Notice how I've turned into a politician. Yeah, I'm answering a question with a question. I'm always putting it back on them because I want them talking, not me talking. Yeah. Look at this next example that I've given you. I just don't think I can do this. So we give them a little bit of nurturing. Of course you can. What makes you think you can't? Yeah. You've answered a question briefly and you've thrown it back on them with another question to get them talking again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Just having a drink, guys. Yeah, so we always want them to be talking more than we are, unless we're sharing our story, which is really powerful. Yeah. So some more powerful questions, and I know I'm giving you a lot of information here, but I really want you to have the tools to be able to make this happen. Yeah. And if
excellent.
Yeah, if you just write these questions out, what I've done with my questions, because we got given a ton, is I went through them and I thought, which ones do I like, which do I don't like, which kind of fit my personality, which don't. Because some of the coaches I work with, if you think some of my questions are blunt, oh my word. Some of my other coaches and colleagues that I work with, wow, they're like so blunt with their questions and really like gritty, but they close sales. But some of that I'm not quite comfortable doing. So what I did is I wrote all the questions out and I highlighted the ones I wanted to start trying. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll switch and I'll throw another one in and just see how it goes. So, you don't have to use all these questions, but I definitely want to give you some of the ones that work really well for me. And that is, again, reminding them of their goals. You can ask the question, okay, so remind me, how important is it to you to make X happen? So with that lady, can you just tell me again, remind me, how important is it to you that you have more time with your children and that you're able to travel with your children? That question instantly gets them back into an emotional state. So if they were starting to go a little bit logical on us, that gets them back emotional and it gets them to repeat their dreams. And what they're basically doing is selling it to themselves. Because as they're speaking the words, in their head, they're thinking, I probably should go for this. And remember, the person talking is the one buying. So how important is it to you to make X happen? Next question. Do you feel you could stay coachable and committed? This is a great question that I've used many times because it helps the prospect to convince themselves that they can do it. Yeah. And what that question instantly does as well is it gets them selling themselves to me, because that question is almost slightly a little bit negative. As in, I almost do it as a bit of a takeaway sometimes. And I say to them, well, I'm not too sure. Do you think you could stay coachable and committed? Because there's nothing stronger than taking something away from someone. Trust me on that. And they actually then turn around and like, well, yeah, definitely. Yes, I am 100% committed and I would absolutely stay coachable. So they're saying to you there, I can do this. Yeah. They all of a sudden start selling themselves to you. Powerful question to use. Another powerful question. After watching whatever it is you sent them to, what do you think X is going to be able to do for you? Now, who remembers that was the very first question we asked them on the first call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
This is also a really, if someone says 7 to 9 to you, and then you say, what do you need to see or hear in order to become a 10? And then they tell you, when you're having a bit of a conversation, this is another really powerful question to then ask. After watching this or after taking a look at our opportunity, and I used this today actually, what do you think it's going to be able to do for you? Gets them to start selling themselves on the program. Yeah. And then what they've picked out from watching the opportunity, because they might watch your opportunity and just say, oh my God, I just want to make more money. They might not be interested in the product or the fact that you can do this and you can do that. They might just be thinking, oh my God, I just want to make more money. So why focus on all the other amazing things that your business does when all they care about is making more money? Yeah. Or they might watch your opportunity webinar, and I get a lot of people like this, by the way, and they might just want to be a part of something. They might be looking, thinking, I want to be a part of that. I want to be involved in that community. I want to be in that team. I get a lot of people like this who've joined network marketing companies for that very reason. They want to be a part of something. Yeah. They're not interested in money. I can't tell you the amount of people that I speak to that they've got money. And they're not interested in money whatsoever. So what motivates them in the business? Well, I actually just want to achieve something. I want to be able to say, I've done this. You'd be surprised the amount of people that I get that say that, okay? So they might have watched your opportunity webinar and just be like, oh my God, this is my chance to achieve something. This is my chance to say, I did that. Yeah? So if you were then to start just talking about the money and, oh, you can earn this, you know, and they've got no interest in that whatsoever, you've lost them. So by asking this question, you know, what do you think this is going to be able to do for you? You then would find out if they start saying, well, I just really think that it'd be great to be a part of this team. You know, I'd love to go on these trips with everybody and be part of something. And then you just talk about that. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So that's another really powerful question to ask. You know, find out what it is that got them excited when they went to watch the webinar, or you gave them more information about the product. So, like I said, if your prospect is a 7 to 9, they're more than likely they want to buy or join. They just need a bit more help crossing the line. Don't be afraid to challenge them and get them really thinking. Don't be afraid to ask these questions, okay? Don't think, oh, I can't upset someone, or I can't ask that. You'd be surprised that people want someone. People want someone to kind of give them a kick up the bum sometimes. Who can relate to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you just kind of need someone to give you a nudge.
I think like when you were doing it to me, I was probably at a 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And yeah, all I needed was for you to sort of say, jump over.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
this. Totally. And most people are like that.
I think some people want you to ask the questions, though, don't they?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they enjoy the fact that you're showing an interest in them, like we touched on in the first one. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And
they love it. I think if you ask them, some people really enjoy being asked the questions, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they love it that you're in control, that you're taking charge of this conversation. But yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot of people they either need a bit of a kick up the bum, or they just need you to say, you can do this. Yeah. And like I've put here, and it's really important, I'm just going to grab another drink. You're not going to win them all. And it's okay. Okay? There are going to be times when you come off a conversation, even with this skill set that I'm giving you, and it's just not going to happen. It's okay. Okay? I did a live about this the other day. No problem, Tammy, I'm just pleased that you're here. The problem isn't people saying no to you. The problem most of the time is you're just not speaking to enough people, because you're always going to get people saying no, even with this skill set. Now, don't get me wrong, this skill set is going to get way more people saying yes to you, without a doubt. But you're still going to get the no's, and it's totally okay. You won't win them all, and it's okay. You know, too many people are afraid of that no, and they steer away from it, when really all you need to do is just generate a few more leads and speak to a few more people, okay? Don't worry if you don't win them all. Even now, I will come off a call and think, I probably could have done better then. And it's annoying when I think that person just needed a bit more of a nudge and I just couldn't get them over the line, but you won't win them all, okay? Now, another really powerful question. You know, we've done the thermometer close. We've got them to tell us. Have you ever found yourself like at this stage where it's just kind of really going nowhere? And you want to ask, okay, do you want to join? But you don't at the same time. Who can relate to what? Is this making sense, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's making sense. But
Yeah.
I must admit, I'm not shy in asking somebody and getting straight to the point, because I get a bit of a feel whether they are going to jump on board or not really.
Good.
So
Well,
I'm not actually that shy in asking, because at the end of the day, you've got to ask for the sale, haven't you, at some point?
And that's great to hear, Nia. Personally, myself, I used to shy away from it a bit. I think I used to, I just didn't used to go, okay, so do you want to join? Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's the question that we need to ask. However, I'm giving you like a powerful alternative. So if you find it quite uncomfortable to just say, like, okay, are you joining? The only ever closed question you ever need to ask is, okay, what do you feel should happen next? And you let them tell you. So if you get into a point in a conversation where it's not really going anywhere, or you still maybe feel like this person isn't quite crossed the line yet, it's, you know, we're just kind of going around in circles, what should happen next? Let them tell you. And a lot of the time they might just say, you know, I just need to check my finances, or I need to have a chat with the husband, whatever. But that's just a really lovely question for you to ask, because you can also say, what should happen next? And they'll say, well, do you know what? Let's do it. Yeah. So I use it all the time, especially when I feel like a conversation's come to a bit of a standstill. What do you feel should happen next? And I let them tell me. Don't shy away from the sale. There is a point when you have to tie this down. And when you use the what should happen next, they'll always tell you. Okay? So the only closed question you'll ever need to ask, and I have it in front of me all the time when I'm coaching every single day, what should happen next? It's like pinned at the back of my computer.
And Emma, if they do sort of say, oh, they need to check their finances and that, you let them go off and check, because sometimes that's a bit of an excuse, isn't it?
It is. I think you will get, because we're coming to that now, actually.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. You'll get a sense as to whether that's the truth or not. And I'll tell you how this is the truth now, because This is probably one of the biggest objections about the money. If I know it's genuine about the money, I let them go and check. If I know that they can do it there and then, I try and get them to do it there and then while we're on the call. I don't want to lose them off the call. But if they have to go away, like I said last week, we have to have a clear outcome. We don't just let them go. So it's, okay, when do you think you'll be able to do that by? When can we schedule our next follow-up?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always with a clear outcome. Never let them leave you hanging and go off that call not knowing what's happening next.
What's next? Yeah.
Now, some of the most powerful techniques from my years of experience. How many people have had the money objection? I haven't got the money.
Not as yet.
Not as yet?
No.
Anyone else ever had that objection where someone's told you I haven't got the money?
Yeah, usually halfway through the conversation, because you tend to babble on at the beginning. But yeah, people do say, oh, I haven't got the money, and you've actually spoken to them for a good 20-25 minutes before you get to that answer.
Have you watched last week's recording yet?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that's what I mean. So you need to implement the things you said in the first training session, so that you don't get 20-25 minutes in before they say, oh, I haven't got any money.
Yeah. And another great question to ask at the very beginning, I'm glad you've just said that, Mia, is, if this is a cold prospect and you don't know who they are, asking those personal questions like, so what do you do for a living? That will give you a good idea as to whether the person's got some money or not. And I don't know, that sounds, God, I know that sounds a bit, I don't even know the word to explain it, but nosy or whatever, but it'll let you know whether that person can be qualified or not. Because if they're in a decent job and you know that they've probably got a bit of money if you've got an expensive product or your opportunity is expensive to join, then asking these personal questions, and people will usually say that, if someone's like, I'm broke, I can't even afford this, they might not be a great candidate for what you've got. However, don't always write them off, okay? So let me share with you something really, really powerful that when I learned this, I never forgot it. It's never, 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 and I'll say it another 100 times, about the money, okay? I'll answer your question in a moment, Caroline. So I used to let people off when people used to say to me, I haven't got the money. Let me share something with you. When someone wants something and they haven't got the money, but they really want it, what do?
They'll find the
They
money.
find the money, yeah.
They find the money. How many people have got mobile phones, cars, this, that, and the other when they can't even afford them?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
How many people are in credit card debt, loans, finance, because they've got the thing that they haven't really got the money for?
Yep.
When someone wants something, they'll find a way to get it. Okay? It's never about the money. Now, it might genuinely be about the money, and I'm going to show you a powerful question that you can ask when they tell you it's about the money. Sometimes it is genuinely they haven't got the money, but a lot of the time it's just an excuse. It's too easy an excuse. Oh, I haven't got the money, when really it's not about the money. Okay? So, and I had one of these today, and it was actually, she didn't have the money. What I say when someone says to me, the person today, we did the recap, and I said, I did the test close on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a no, 10 being a yes, and 10 being you'd like to get started, where would you say you're at this point? And she said, I'm a 7. And I was like, okay, so what do you feel you need to see or hear in order to become a 10? And she was like, well, it's just purely down to the money, and I haven't got it. So my next question always reveals the true objection. And I say, okay, so you're saying that if you had the money, you'd be joining us now. And if they go, yes, absolutely, and I'm gutted, then you know it was genuinely about the money. Okay? If you say the question, oh, that's a shame that. So basically you're saying that if you had the money, you'd be joining us now. And they go, yeah, probably. They're lying. I was going to swear then, okay? But it's crap. It's not the money. They're hiding behind the money, and they're holding the cards close to the chest. It's actually another reason, okay? If they're not absolutely like, I'm gutted, or you ask that question, they're like, yeah, I just haven't got it at the minute and I'm gutted, then you know, no problem here, you know that it wasn't about the money. Unless, if it's anything less than an absolute yes, it's not about the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 They're withholding the true reason, and we need to ask more questions to get to the bottom of it. And I have this quite often. You know, I had a lady the other day actually, and she said, oh, I just haven't got the money. And I was like, oh, that's a shame. You know, so you're basically, you know, you're saying if you didn't have the money that you'd be joining us now. And she was like, yeah, probably. So I knew it's not about the money. So I started asking more questions. And usually actually when they say, yeah, probably, they go on to give you the real reason as well. And I think she did. She was like, yeah, I just probably, you know, I'm just not sure how this will help me. There was the true objection. It wasn't money. That was the reason. So then I knew I had to ask more questions around that, which was, okay, so, you know, after you watched that, how do you think this will help you? And when she answered that question, that allowed me to see the gaps. And basically, she didn't fully understand how this could help her. She'd missed out on a lot. So I was able to fill that gap then. Yeah. So asking that question always reveals the true reason. And it could just be like that person's reason. She couldn't quite see how this was going to help her yet. Or it might be that they just don't believe in themselves enough, but people hide behind the money objection way too much. So that was massive for me when I learned that, because I just don't take it on face value anymore. And the people that they genuinely haven't got the money, I then say to them, well, look, we've got other options, or you could be saying, we've got other products. Would you like me to share those with you to see if we can make it work? And the genuine ones will be like, yeah, definitely. I had a lady today, actually. She didn't realise that she could pay for this via PayPal. It was like a PayPal credit option. And so I gave her the link to go and apply for it, and she applied for it straight away. You know that person was being genuine when she said she didn't have the money. Because as soon as I gave her the sniff of an opportunity to get it another way by another option, she was all over it. Does this make sense?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, you might have a cheaper product, or you might have a lower entry point in, you know, sometimes there's big packages people can join your opportunity with, sometimes the smaller ones. So this is a great way for you to try and downsell them, I suppose, into something else. Making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, powerful techniques again. So we know it's never about the money. That was a big power tactic that I learned. Another one is to be the nurturing parent. Did we go over this last week? Remind me if it was in the webinar.
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if we did. Right. When I want you to think now, for those of you who've got children, I want you to think of when you want to encourage your child. What type of parent you have to be. I want you to tell me now when you want your child to do something, when you want to encourage your child.
Sort of a loving parent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you put there, the nurturing parent.
Yes. So how do you need to be? Tammy's putting
bribery.
Works for me. Yeah, I definitely not encourage you to bribe your prospects. That won't work. That's kind of not where I'm going with this, Tammy, but I like your style. So how, Tammy, when you want your little one to behave, what tends to get through to him? Caroline's put, be positive, help them believe in themselves. Yes, and this was huge for me when I learned this, because I realized where I was going wrong with my kids, because I've got a short temper. Okay. Now, what happens if your child is giving you attitude and you go back with them and give them the exact same thing? So you're not the nurturing parent. You're the one that goes, you know, I lose my temper and I go straight back. No. That just gets their back up even more. Yeah. I want you to think now of like, tell me when you can't reason with my toddler. When you go back against someone with exactly what they've just given you, you just get more of the same. So if you were in an argument and someone was arguing with you and really going at you and you were repeating it and going back the same, you're just going back and forth, okay? You actually need to be the opposite, and it's called the nurturing parent. You need to be that person you need to be when you want to encourage your child with your prospect, because that speaks to the inner child. Never confront people, and it's easy to do if you've got a bit of a snotty client, okay, that's being funny, and that's really just asking funny questions. It's you know, depending on what type of personality you are, but it can be easy just to lose your temper or just be a bit short back with them. It really is about being nurturing, and you can do this, encouraging. You know, I really believe that you can do this. Share your testimonial. Let them be inspired, because this is how you get through to your children when you want them to believe in themselves or you want to encourage them. And remember, we're speaking to the child in your prospect. It's the child that wants, it's the child that buys. So it's actually being the nurturing parent. And I'm actually going to go back to my notes that I took when I very first learned this lesson, because my mentor gave me the name of a book that was, here we go. I still haven't bought it, and it's down on my list of things to do because I think it'll be an amazing read, and it's called Games People Play. I didn't write, it was Eric somebody, and I didn't have enough time. I didn't catch his surname, I don't think. But it's called Games People Play. So if you Google it, by Eric someone, it actually talks all about being the nurturing parent, and it's about ego states. So it won't just help you to close more sales, it'll also help you to become a better parent as well. You know, and how just to deal with better situations, how to speak to the inner child. So I just wanted to share that with you because I remembered that there was a book that my mentor mentioned about this. So does that make sense? Encourage. You really want to take your clients by the hand and help them believe that they can do it, because sometimes that's just what they need. They just need someone else to believe in them. Tell your story at every opportunity. you get. This will just help you to connect with your prospect, close more sales, inspire your prospect. And I like I said, I can't tell you the amount of sales that I have closed through telling my story, because that really just connects with people. And I think the biggest thing is it makes them think, if she can do it, I can do it. That's why half of my Facebook lives do really well when I've got a screaming toddler in the background and I've got dogs barking on the sofa. Or like before, at the beginning of this webinar, the little one was kicking off in the bath. I think it shows other people that I'm real. And that if I can do this with screaming toddlers and dogs that go nuts when the postman comes and still build a business, it lets other people see, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's what your story does to other people as well. And if you feel your story isn't where you want it to be yet, tell the story of someone successful you know. Okay, there's always an inspiring story that you can use. You can use mine if you want to. I'm more than happy with you doing that. And if it's a no, remember, this is a positive outcome. It means you can close the book for now, and you can always have the referral. Don't forget to ask for a referral. You've invested your time in this prospect. You know, make sure that you ask for the referral, because they're more than likely to give it to you because they will have trusted you by this point as well. And this doesn't mean that this person might not go away off the call, and because you've asked them so many powerful questions, you've really got them thinking, you know. And I've had so many people that have come back because they just couldn't stop thinking about their goals and everything, and in the end they decide, they give themselves a bit of a kick up the bum, you know. So if I wasn't able to bring them across the line on the call, a lot of people do come back as well when you use this process. Because you've touched them, you've asked questions that has really made them take a real good look at their life, their goals, the excuses that they're telling themselves. And it, you know, when you challenge people and you really make them think, they don't forget you. Yeah, Caroline saying my dog and kids always end up in my videos. It's part of people seeing the real me. Exactly. And I recommend you keep doing that as well. Right, so some more power questions. Let me just try and check how many more slides I've got here. Oh, we're nearly at the end, guys. Now, if they absolutely still need to think about it, remember, we don't really want to go for this, because on the last call, we were trying to encourage people that, or we were trying to seed on the last call that we're going to be making a decision on this call. However, you will still get the odd people who still need to think about it, okay? Before they go, just try and ask more questions. So, you know, what would you like help with? Is there anything else I can do to help you make a decision? It's a great one. Again, let them tell you why they still need to think about it. And if they just still need to think about it, then take control and you say, okay, so let's schedule a follow-up in blah. Don't just let them go off the call and to never be seen again. We still want to schedule another follow-up. We want a clear outcome. Otherwise, they will disappear. Okay. But if you tie them into another commitment of a follow-up, they're more likely to stick to it. Because I know this is a big one for you guys, and for a lot of people that I coach, you get too many people telling you they'll think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll think about it just means that they're still unsure about something, and we needed to ask more questions to get to the root of it. Or it means they wanted to tell you no, but they weren't brave enough to do it.
Oh.
So if on the previous call, you know, you give them permission to say no, and we did this in the process where we say, and if it's a no, that's completely fine. When you say that to someone because they're not expecting it, you know, it builds trust, but it gives them permission to say no as well, so they don't have to waste your time. Yeah, and don't forget, guys, that some people will turn up and just say 10. They are the best. You just close them. Yeah, we all love a 10. And if you do this process right, you know, don't forget that the programs that I'm selling on a daily basis go from $1,500 to $3,500. And it used to be $15,000 and $30,000, but I don't do those ones at the minute. That's a big decision to make. Usually when, you're selling your product, you won't need these many. If it's like less than $100, you won't need these many questions. If it's, to join your opportunity is like less than 1,000, you'll get way more people just saying a 10 as well. You won't, the bigger the price point, generally the more objections you have to overcome, because it's a bigger decision for people. You will not need these many questions with a lower price product. And let me say something else as well. If it's a product that's like less than $50, try and do it all in one conversation. You really, I want to encourage you, you don't need 2 calls to be doing anything more than like $50. You can totally do that on a first call. And I have a mentor, she doesn't take these calls and sell anything less than like $300. And I know that might sound a bit crazy to you, but this is a powerful process when you use it properly. So, you will get more people saying yes instantly when the price point isn't as high. And you will definitely get the 10s as well. You just need to close them. Yes, Caroline saying I need to generate more leads so I can put all this into practice. Exactly. That's the other part of the equation. This training is for when you're generating the leads, but you've sorted yourself out because you've bought the attraction marketing formula. So that's really teaching you about how to generate leads online. And you definitely need to go through your Ignition coaching calls as well. And I want you to know, Caroline, that you'll be given opportunities as well for more mentorship and coaching as you go through that. Definitely make an informed decision about that as you go through it, because all that side of it is going to teach you how to generate more leads. So, yeah. And remember, guys, throughout this entire process, what don't we do? We don't convince. The beauty is your prospect. It's your prospect every step of the way convincing themselves. All we need to do is just ask the right questions, take them by the hand and help them cross the finish line. That's our job. And I know I've given you a lot of information here. But like I said, I could have just given you the questions, but I want you to understand why we ask the questions, the strategy behind the questions. When you write these questions out, now you've got both of these processes. That's all you have to do is ask these questions. Have that piece of paper in front of you with the questions so you don't even have to think about it when you get someone asking you for more information. Just ask the questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let your prospect do all the work. All you're doing is asking questions. It's beautiful, especially when you use the test close on the follow-up call as well. So, guys, it's not quite as lengthy, the close, because of the test close does a lot of the work for you. Okay. So can you all share with me what was like your biggest takeaway or your biggest takeaways from tonight's training?
I just think it just kind of makes sense now, and I think for me, it just makes me feel more confident to actually go out there now and look for the leads.
Yes.
I think I was always sort of holding back there because I wasn't confident enough on how to speak to them. So with both of sort of the last week's and this week's, I definitely feel much more confident.
Yeah, and I love that. That was one of the biggest things for me, Debbie, is I couldn't wait to talk to my next prospects. I was like, this is so easy. It takes all the pressure off me.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I'm like kind of keen now to actually just get on there and do it now.
Yeah. And when I started asking these questions and I was seeing it working, I was like, oh my God, I love this process.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. When you could just turn around to someone and say, and they tell you it's 7 to 9, and you say, okay, so what do you feel you need to see or hear in order to become a 10? It's easy. You just sit back and let them tell you, well, X, Y, and Z. So then you know exactly what you need to talk about. Where before, I used to go on and on and on, you know, and I could have been talking about things that that didn't bother them. Now it's all about the prospect.
Yeah.
And just, it's easier. It is easier having these conversations. And it made me look forward to calls more, because
Yes,
it's easier. It's
imagine.
nothing to do with me. It's all about the prospect. It's not my reasons, it's their reasons. It's not my goals, it's their goals. And it's, if they ain't joining, it ain't because of me, it's because of them. You know, it's their blocks. I'm just trying to help them. Yeah. So Nat is saying, my takeaway is nurturing your clients like your own child. Yes, that was a big one for me too. And it made me think about how I could be better with my children as well. Often losing my temper and, you know, having this back and forth, as being a bit more nurturing. You know, because when you really want your child to do something or believe in themselves, that's how you are. You're the encouraging parent. And that's really how you get your child to listen to you, how you really get them to take note of what you're saying. And that's exactly how you need to be with your clients. Sometimes, a lot of the time, they don't believe in themselves and they just need someone else to believe in them more than what they do. And so if you're there going, you can absolutely do this. And by the way, I felt exactly the same when I joined. I thought to myself, can I do this? You know, can I really speak to prospects? But I took the leap, I did it, and would you believe it? You know, I could do it. You know, kind of surprised myself, because I had all this support from my team. You know, we've got an amazing team. We all help each other, and we all felt like that at some point. Can you see how powerful that is when you say that to someone? Because you're saying, you're validating what they've just said. You're validating that, hey, it's okay to feel like you did. I felt like that once, but, and then you tell the inspiring bit, I did it, you know, and now I'm a part of this amazing team and we all help each other out. That's going to make your prospect think, I can do it. I can totally do that. Caroline saying, Debbie, have you got a capture page? I feel it's an absolute must. Only heard about it in another training this week. I'm pretty sure Debbie has, and that is, don't worry about that, Caroline, because you're going to learn more about capture pages as you go through Ignition. Okay, and how to put capture pages together. Capture pages are your best friend because it allows you to capture people's email addresses. So you've got someone to follow up with and start these conversations with. Yes. So is there any more takeaways from anybody? Anything that this whole process has helped you with? Because, you know, what you just shared with me again, I want to thank everybody for sending me their testimonials from last week. It, you know, was really humble to read some of those testimonials, and it always is great feedback for me too. But also, you know, I want to feature you. I want to feature you on my pages, and I want to feature you on future projects and products, because this is great exposure for you, you know, and some verification for you as well, you know, to show that you're being featured on other people's products. So definitely, please feel free to send me your testimonials via email or in the group, because they will get shared around my social media channels, and it's great feedback for me too. Even
Can
if,
I just say something, Emma?
yeah, is this Tammy?
Yes, it is. I think, I've been really hiding behind Messenger. That's what's becoming very, very obvious through all of these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a UK thing or a US thing, but I just find people in the UK seem more reluctant to jump on a call than people in the US. Does anybody else find that, or is it just me kind of hiding behind not maybe wanting to call people so much?
I think you're probably hiding behind not wanting to call people, but also UK people are more reluctant. Because if you think of us as a nation, we're a way more skeptical nation than the Americans. Yeah, in the nicest way possible. You know, us UK folk, we're dry.
Yeah, we are, totally.
Sarcastic.
More conservative, isn't it?
Conservative.
And actually, I was just as bad. I was as skeptical about jumping on a call.
Me too.
Yeah. And I was, you know, when I remember going through Ignition thinking, is someone really going to phone me?
Yeah.
And then they do, and you're like, whoa. Where the US folk, they're so much more open to it.
Yeah.
They're just like, yes, let's do this. They don't really have the barriers that the UK people do. But that doesn't mean that UK prospects aren't amazing and brilliant. There's probably a few more barriers that it's more skeptics with the UK.
I ran an ad a long time ago, and for some bizarre reason, probably my fault, but the targeting was wrong, and it deleted all the targeting I put on and only targeted parents. So I was getting a massive response on this ad, which is amazing. It was totally targeting people that weren't always necessarily interested, but it also managed to capture a lot of people from Ireland. And so yesterday I contacted about 30 of them that had messaged me for more info over the past, like, about 6 months ago. And so I decided to put all of this into practice and recontact all of them. And the ones I've spoken to so far, they're already so not keen on the call thing, you know. And I'm quite up for phoning now, because I think I'm definitely
get
more
on the call.
Yeah, and I think the one-to-ones I've done that have been face-to-face, although they haven't been sign-ups, they've gone really well. I'm quite passionate when I talk to people, and it comes across, and people engage with me well. So I actually think I'd be okay doing them, but they're just so they're so not up for it.
Yeah. Have you tried a video chat? Like, you can do that through Facebook Messenger as well.
Yeah, well, I've kind of offered that, you know. I've said I'm happy to jump on a call, or we can do a video call, or if you need to message, that's totally fine. Because I was working a night shift last night, and I'd messaged somebody late, and I thought, well, I've only got one lady, so I could in theory message this person. Yeah. So I was like, if you're stuck to call, I can chat now if it's on Messenger. But yeah, I just find people are a bit reluctant.
Try as well the voice thing on Facebook. That's nice, and it's not as invasive as a video. But why? Because, you know, you said before, you think you might be hiding behind Messenger as well. Messenger is so easy to message, and you've got the questions in front of you. You know, and we've said it before. The magic happens outside your comfort zone. Yeah. Even sometimes I want to just hide behind Messenger. But why do you think, if you can get on something like this now with people, or even if you were just using the voice, why do you think you're going to close more people if you can do that rather than behind Messenger?
You just come across people differently, don't you? Your passion is there, your enthusiasm is there, you're more engaging, you know, you set the tone, they can tell exactly what you're saying, how you're saying it, instead of sort of, you know, second guessing what your words mean. I just think it is so much better, and I could totally do it. I just need the subject.
Yeah. Just get on a video chat with me. Oh. Don't get too desperate, Tammy. A bit scary, isn't it?
I know. This is you've hit the nail on the head. This is the trouble. I'm too scary. I think I put people off sometimes.
You're going to get someone that says yes, so just keep asking and try the voice thing. And Caroline hit the nail on the head as well. Because they can hear and see you and know that you're real, the quickest way to build the know, like, and trust factor is via video. Because people see your face, they see your body language, they hear the tone of your voice. You will close more people if it's over the phone or video chat. And don't forget, when I close my people every single day, I'm not on a video chat, I'm just on a Zoom, just chatting. So there's no face-to-face, there's just talk, but it's not over Messenger. So, you know, you don't have to really have your camera on for it to work, but you'd close even more people if you had your camera on.
I'm so ready for this.
Yes. You just keep asking, you will get someone that will say yes. Okay.
And it's funny, I've looked back over my messages, because I did is it the 90-minute profit machine or something, isn't it? Is it the one with Bill, where he has kind of the script of what you should be saying, and it's the same kind of things you've done. And I've been reading back over the messages that I've sent, and although I have followed the structure and trying to get people to think about it, I think it's not come across, it's not grabbed them enough, and I think I can see what needs tweaking, and I can definitely see that saying it is so much more powerful than typing it.
you've got to get to their pains. If you feel like they're not quite moving enough, you haven't got to their pains. You haven't. That's what I usually find. I really know when I've connected with a prospect because we've had a connection, because we've ended up talking about something that was real. And it's usually you will just have to ask that one extra question that hits the pain point. And don't be afraid to have these conversations with people. They need it. People need it. Trying to think of an example. Who was it that it was a lady this week that I was speaking to. I speak to that many people. They come in and out my mind. What was she saying? I can't remember the conversation, but we just got really real with each other. And I know when I have that connection with people, they're much more likely to join or buy, because I asked her real questions and we went beyond the surface. You know, and she got a little tiny bit emotional, and not to the point where she was crying, but we got to the pains, and that's what makes people move. So don't be afraid to really find out, why is that important to you? You know, how committed are you to make that happen? You know, I've even said to people, and this will come with time and posture, but I've said, you know, are you open to some coaching around whatever? And they're like, yeah. So I get permission first to kind of say, you know, I'm going to say something you're probably not comfortable with. And I've said to people, okay, if you're being completely honest with yourself now, if you go away and you think about this and you leave this conversation, will I ever see you again? You know, I've said that to people, and I've had people turn around and go, you're probably right. No, you won't, because this is something that I tend to do. You know, I tend to overthink things and then talk myself out of the situation. And because you kind of confronted them with a bit of a challenging question, you know, you're having like these real authentic conversations with people, and it takes some posture and some time to kind of have that. But that's what people want. That's what people remember. Don't be afraid to ask the challenging questions. And like I said before, some of my colleagues, they're not ruthless, but they don't hang about. You know, I had my mentor tell me the other day that he had a guy share with him that he didn't want to earn a lot of money, and he kind of made out like, oh, this will be more of a hobby than a business. And my mentor basically said, this isn't for you, and he took it completely away. He just basically took it off him and said, I really just don't think you're in the right place to invest into this training and this mentorship. And this person came back and ended up buying the big package when he completely took it off him. Now, I'm not sure I could do that, but you know, it works, guys, it works. And something else just popped into my head then as I was saying that, and it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. So just don't be afraid to ask these challenging questions. Caroline said, the whole training has put a fire back in my belly, feeling so much more positive for the future, but I'm the type of person that needs to do it properly. So need to fully put this all into order so I feel confident putting it into practice, because they hear and see you as, oh yeah. Now, I've got something to say about that. And I love the fact that, you know, you want to do it properly. But again, because I've coached so many people, the amount of times I've heard that is scary. And it's usually around perfectionism. You know, I get some people sometimes where they're slight perfectionists and they won't go and do what they want to do until it's perfect. My advice to you is just go and do it, because that is probably a block that comes up in your life that stops you from moving forward. Okay, mine is I overthink things. It's like my go-to thing to get out of things, and it's a habit. These things are habits. Okay, so my habit is I overthink things, and I overthink them to death, and I don't do the thing. I talk myself out of making the decision because I overthink it to death. Have we got any other overthinkers on the call? Right.
I'm the best.
Okay. So it's a block. Okay. Overthinking is a block. Overthinking is the same as procrastination in a way. I also suffer from procrastination. I put things off. I'll do it another time. Procrastinate. Procrastination is just another thing that comes up that stops me from doing the thing that I need to do. I'm just more aware of it now, so I know when I'm procrastinating, I think, why am I procrastinating? Just do it. Have we got any other procrastinators on the call?
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah. Procrastinating is just fear of failure. You're just putting it off. Okay. So again, I need to write it all out, and this needs to be properly before I've done it. That's perfectionism. It's another form of overthinking and procrastinating. Just do it. Okay. Honestly, just do it.
I have one question. I am. I follow your advice, Emma, and I just add people.
And you just what?
I just add those people.
Oh, good. What, the ones that you were messaging before?
No, I just add them.
Oh, you just, we've had these conversations before, haven't we? And I've said
I just procrastinate to add people and overthink, if this person might be...
just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. Do you know when I learn best? When I just do it.
Yes. And I got in a conversation with a sales trainer. And somehow, I don't know, how can I get out what she might be needed, what she might need, if she has any need, either for EMP or for something else that I have.
Yeah. If you don't ask, you don't know.
And just ask, are you happy or something?
Yeah. So Caroline's saying, I'm worried I'll say the wrong things and blow it. It doesn't matter. That's how you learn. You won't learn writing about it. I mean this in the nicest way possible. The same as I won't learn when I procrastinate. I learn when I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I learn when I fail. When I do something and it didn't work. I didn't learn thinking about it. I learned when I did it and it didn't work, or I did it and it did work. And the more you do these things, you'll get better because you're pushing yourselves to just do it. Yeah. Like recently, what was it that I was thinking of doing and then I just did it? Or I do this all the time with a Facebook Live. I'll get a subject for a Facebook Live. Like I'll have a really good conversation with the client. I had one this week about her making an excuse of time. And I thought, I need to do a live on that. And then my old habit will creep in and I'll probably overthink it and think, mind you, do I really want to get on my soapbox about that issue? You know, because I don't tend to go too far sometimes. And then I think, mind you, it's not a great time at the minute. There probably won't be a lot of people on live. And then I was thinking, and I just need to do, and then in the end, I just did it. Yeah. Stopped overthinking, stopped procrastinating, and I did the live. There was people that showed up, people loved it, people commented. I wouldn't have known that if I'd have kept overthinking it, if I'd have kept thinking about it. You don't learn from keeping it up here. You learn from putting it into action. The same as when I first got taught this process from my mentor, and it wasn't as much as I've just thrown you, by the way, guys. We did like a little subject every week. So we had to try something new on every week. And I remember thinking, sod it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to ask that question tomorrow. Like the upfront contract, when I first got taught that, I was thinking, I can't do that. I can't say to someone before I've even got into a conversation, do you know what? This might not be a right fit for you. I remember thinking, I can't say that. But I just thought, this person that's telling me is an expert and has made a lot of money doing this. I'm just going to try it on and do it. And I did it. And the very first person was like, and treated the call completely differently and really sold themselves to me. And I was like, this stuff does work. Yeah, you've really just got to try it on. So get out there, get your leads. The worst they can say is no. Don't take it personally. It's their stuff, not yours. And you will grow. You will grow as a person and your business will grow with you. Because if you want your business to grow, you have to change. You won't be the person that you are right now. I'm not the person that I was when I started back in 2015. Absolutely not the same person, in a better way. Yeah, always growing. So does anybody have any final questions for me? I've loved this training and I really can't wait to hear you guys putting it into practice even more. I know Tammy was messaging me yesterday going, help, what do I say to this question?
Yes, one last question. What do you have any mental tips for me not to? I often feel that I have some hidden agenda.
Yes.
And I sound scripted.
Yeah, sounding scripted, that's a big one. That's where I would, again, just encourage you to try these questions, because then you'll think, you know what, I wouldn't say it like that. And you'll tweak them to make them your own. Yeah? So I've given you the framework, but you don't have to say it word for word. And I did that. I changed them to make them my own. And I also, there's some questions that I don't ask. You know, you might not want to ask. So don't worry about the scripted thing. And the hidden agenda, you know, we're in a business at the end of the day. You're in a business, you need to make the sales. And if someone has come to you and asked for more information, well, there is no hidden agenda. Yeah. And you know, you're helping people. The people that will want to be helped and will join. And the others, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about having a hidden agenda. The people that will resonate with your products and your opportunity will join and will buy. And they're the people that you're after. And the other people, you know, if, like I said before, if it's a no, you can always get a referral. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, everything is up here. Our mindset stops us and blocks us every step of the way. We think it's skills sometimes, and sometimes you do need skills, but more often than not, it's what goes up on in our heads. Yes. What will we do next? Caroline, yes, you've just reminded me actually. Yes, what I'm going to be doing from tomorrow is looking at my calendar and looking where we can schedule in our one-to-one times. It's going to be really cool to get to speak to you all one-on-one on the guys who are not on this call today. You know, and you can tell me how you've been putting this into practice, and anything is going to go on those calls. And I want to be completely transparent with you and let you know a bit of what my life looks like, okay? I need to take a look at my calendar and see where I can fit these spots in, because as you know, I coach and I do this every day. I tend to coach in the afternoons. So my afternoons are usually took up coaching. And then in the morning, I'm also working on my business as well. Now, of an evening time, I do also have other commitments with, not every night, but with coaching. So what I want to know from you guys, and I will be sending an email out about this, but if you are available in the daytime, especially in the morning, UK time, that would be perfect for me. If not, then I obviously will work around this, because I know I've also got some people who aren't from the UK who are in the Powerful Conversations that close. But basically, if you can do a morning time, that's going to be perfect for me. But if not, I will look around, you know, we'll look where we could maybe fit in an evening slot.
I'm okay for mornings.
Brilliant.
During the holidays, it's okay for morning.
Excellent. So, yeah, what might be a good idea actually is if you can email me when you're available, you know, and then I will take a look at my calendar and try and fit in these spots, because we'll just have more quality time within the morning as well. So I haven't got children, you know, they're not nursery and school and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at my calendar and emailing you all out. So if you can all email me, let me know your availabilities. I want to try and do as many as possible before I go away on holiday in August. And next week it's I'm hoping to start them from next week, but next week as well, it is my daughter's dancing show. It's like the craziest week of the year. My daughter does dancing, and she's got show night, Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. It's like an entire week of shows. And I'm backstage, like dressing all the kids, and
I have done that also.
Yeah, growing up as well. So it is a busy week next week, but I'm still hoping to do some of these calls in the daytime. But just want to let you know a little bit of what my life looks like, and look out for an email coming from me. And you let me know as well, please, if you can.
Emma, is there anything we can do to prepare for them so we make the most of it?
Yes, great question. Basically, this is your chance to pick my brains over anything. You know, we don't have to talk about powerful conversations that close. I am going to be asking you some questions because I want to try and get down to the nitty gritty as to what is probably the biggest thing that is you're struggling with at the moment. So I suppose that's somewhere that you can start is think, what are the biggest challenges you're currently facing in your business? What do you feel is your biggest challenges? And we'll try and have a bit of an overview so I can try and pinpoint what's like the single biggest thing you can do at the minute to take your business to the next level. Okay? But literally anything goes. So, you know, if you can have me looking at absolutely anything. I'm happy for that to be literally we just go with the flow, see what it is. But if
this is such a good idea.
It is.
You know, I wonder who came up with it. Yeah, but start thinking now, what's the biggest challenges that I face in my business? Because that's probably one of the first questions I'll ask you if you're not sure, okay? What will we do next? I'm usually free on a Friday morning and most evenings. Excellent. Yes, Friday mornings are great because I tend to have them off. So yeah, it's been lovely, guys. Main thing is I want you to go out there and try this on. It won't work for you if you don't do it. Okay, this money will be a waste. If you invest, there's no point in acquiring all this training and this knowledge to not go and do anything with it. Yeah? And I know too many people who do that. They get a bit addicted to training. You've got to try it on.
Me.
And me.
Yes. Everyone's saying me. No one can ever take your knowledge away. Yeah, your intellectual capital. No one can ever take that away. But please go and put this into action. And I want to hear about it. So if you have a win or you try something on that didn't quite work, message me, let me know, put it in the group. Let's all learn from it together. I want to see you putting it into action. I do this every day in my business. I want to see it working for you guys. Okay. So I've loved this training. Love the intimate training with everyone. Looking forward to having our personal one-to-ones. It's probably going to be on Zoom. I'm hoping to send you a recording of it as well. That's another thing to think about. You know, I'm planning on recording this and sending you the recording so you can keep it and watch it back. So look out for an email coming from me and I shall see you all soon. Don't forget to send me your testimonials so I can feature you in the future.
Emma, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really good.
We'll have to do another one soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Might be planning a bit of a challenge in September, but that's if I get everything else done as well. So stay tuned in the group.
Okay.
Looking to do a group challenge.
Wow.
Something like that around September. Okay. So yeah, stay connected in the group. Send me your testimonials and we'll be in touch for our one-to-ones.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a million.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.